everyone, and welcome to Real Life Talks. I'm your host, Yvonne Heath, author of the book Love Your Life to Death, and founder of the I Just Showed Up movement. So joining me in the studio today is my dear friend, Nina Spencer. Hello, Nina.
Hello there, Yvonne. So good to be back with you.
You know what? This is a very special moment for me, actually, because I reached out to you. Oh my goodness, it was
A few years
ago, 2014. It was before my book.
That's right.
And it is a very funny story, actually, because Jen Brockett, our mutual friend,
That's right.
said, "Oh, I have this client." She was a fitness instructor, and she said, "I have a client, and she does speaking." And I was thinking, "Geez, I want to write a book, but I also apparently have to speak." She said, "You should call Nina." So I thought, okay, a client of yours, I'll call Nina. Well, thank goodness I didn't know before I reached out and just kind of said, "Hey, Nina, I'm Yvonne. I'd like to learn how to be a speaker." Because then as I was looking and I read motivational, one of Canada's leading motivational and business keynote speakers and coach and best-selling author, and I kind of thought, oh my goodness, I didn't know all of that.
Check.
Yes, wow. So when I went to see you speak, that was my moment. I don't even know if you actually know.
I remember.
But when I heard you speak, I thought, wow, I want to be just like Nina.
Oh.
And it's true. And so you were my very first wonderful coach. You opened up my world to speaking, and I will be forever grateful.
And look at you now. Look at her go.
Here I am. And you know, you just never know. You just never know where this journey will take you. But
So true.
Yes, but those very first steps, I was very nervous and vulnerable, and you literally held my hand through it. You were the perfect balance of personable and professional.
Oh, how nice.
So there you go.
You.
So
Thank you.
I love to share that. So I want you to share a little bit about your journey, your speaking author, and we'll go from there.
Well, as some of your people may know, I have 2 books these days. The first book is Getting Passion Out of Your Profession. And both of them are Canadian bestsellers now, which is always lovely. Getting Passion Out of Your Profession, the backstory on that, I was corporate. I was in learning and development. Back then they called it organizational development. And now that title is morphed into learning and development, human resources, inside a very large organization. And there were 6 of us that took care of 5,500 staff province-wide.
5,500?
5,500
people.
Yes,
wow.
well, for any of their professional development needs, we would do workshop facilitation, design, delivery, needs assessment, validation, all of that wonderful good stuff that has to do with corporate learning and development. And I was fairly happy to stay in that role. But suddenly, very suddenly, my 68-year-old mom died.
Yes.
And I was still inside corporate life. And the night before her funeral, a little voice came to me. It was 10 minutes before the doors opened and everybody started to come and pay condolences. And a voice occurred to me, and it was my own voice. But this idea just came out of left field that said, you know what, Nina, life is short. This could be you in 30 years, and you run out of runway long before you want to.
Absolutely.
And what would you be sorry you never did? And even though I was quite happy the rose was still on the vine in terms of my professional life, I thought I would be regretful that I didn't take this baby out on the big highway and see how it goes, right?
Extraordinary.
To go beyond that comfort zone of always working with the same 5,000 people, which is a lot.
Sure.
But the reality is it was never 5,000 people that partook in our offerings. It was the Pareto's principle. It was always about 20%, right? So I got the nerve, the chutzpah, the courage, right? The lady balls, whatever you want to say.
I don't know if we can say that, but there it is.
To dare to go.
Yes, you quit.
I quit.
Yes.
I quit after many years inside, without any package, in the good old-fashioned way.
Wow.
And just started pedaling that bike.
That's amazing. And to go back, I'm sure people around you were thinking, oh, this is just grief.
Absolutely.
don't leap. You're grieving. You're not making sense, or this is not logical.
Were you there? That's exactly what they were saying.
Absolutely,
People
I'm sure.
who really, in their own minds, had my best interest at heart were saying, don't do it. This is grief.
Yes.
Why don't you think about this? And so to appease them, and some of them even included my family. So I said, okay, I'll wait 6 months. But if I feel this way in 6 months, I'm gone.
Right.
And the reality was, after about 3 months, I knew.
You knew.
But I stuck it out anyway. And then what I decided, which was really kind of sweet and divine and felt like an omen, I decided, right, I'm going to leave on the first Friday in December so that I can enjoy Christmas time with my family for the first time ever without having to go to work.
Right, brilliant.
And then I'll start my new business, my sole proprietor, keynote speaking business in January. So I looked on the calendar to see when the first Friday was. It was my birthday.
Oh, there it is. Of course, there. That's perfect. How it's like divinely orchestrated, isn't it?
Well,
Wow.
I decided that was a sign. You know,
It
sometimes
certainly
people need a
is.
sign.
I would say that's
me
a
a
sign.
sign.
Give me a sign. So what year was that, Nina?
That was
January?
I started in January of 1997.
1997.
So on my birthday
Yes.
in 1996, after all those corporate years,
Wow.
I left.
And was it terrifying at first?
You know, this is an interesting thing. I think for all of us, when you feel 100% committed to something, there's an amazing calm, and it's just the right thing and so on. And to be fair, I don't think that there are very many things in my life, ever, including all those big deal moments of your life, where I felt 100% certain that this was the right thing to do.
Yes.
I've been 98% sure. I've been 99% sure.
But this was, yeah. So you just it's like you
so I
didn't have
wasn't
to
scared.
see. Yeah, you didn't have to see the whole staircase. That
No.
whole
No,
analogy,
I love that.
right? You knew you had to take that step, and your career, you have had an extraordinary
A good career.
keynote speaking career. You've spoken everywhere, internationally, and
Or like that old song, I've been everywhere.
Yes, yes.
Yes, I've spoken internationally. I prefer to speak North America, and even more domestically, which sounds so provincial. Yet I really do love being of service to the citizens of our country.
yes,
And as I've gotten older and more secure in my work and not feeling that I need to go everywhere
Right.
to do what I do, I love, there's a line from Forrest Gump, the movie Forrest Gump, that says, Mama says there's only so much fortune a man really needs, and the rest is for showing off.
I love that.
Isn't that nice?
I love that. Yes.
So people sometimes would say, well, you could be so much more, you could be bigger, you could earn. You know what? I have enough to live the life I want, and I have enough opportunity to be of service to clients with about 30, somewhere between 30 and 40 engagements a year typically. Some speakers do
lot.
more, and
Yeah.
you know that, you're
Yeah.
a speaker. So this pleases me. I've got my sweet spot.
Yes.
I love to be of service to citizens from coast to coast, associations, companies, community, charitable, not-for-profits.
Right.
There's lots of work here in our own backyard.
Well, and there really is, and I love your keynote. I love getting passion out of your profession. I think it is one of I have a little shelf of books that are my forever resources, and this is one of them.
Oh, how
yes, because so much of the time, it's very sad how desperately unhappy people are in their jobs, in their careers. And they stay, and there's so many. I highlighted so many things, and I was making notes. I thought, oh my goodness, we don't have 3 hours, but we don't have to leave our careers, but we have to get back in touch with that passion or why we started, and what are some of the things that you share with people about getting passion out of their profession?
Well, just to back it up, a sentence or two ago, what you shared. So, there might be a mistake in thinking that my message is, if you want to be passionate, you have to quit your job. You've got to go, find your bliss. Now, ultimately, it would be lovely if the work that you do to earn money was also your bliss.
Of course.
But if it's not, that's fine too. There's all kinds of jobs and there's all kinds of ways to make a contribution in the workplace professionally. And sometimes some people just say, well, I don't need to be passionate in my job. I just need to go to my job, get my money, get out on Friday evening and enjoy my weekend, and I'll put my passion in my hobbies on the weekend and in the evening. And if that's the truth for you, then fine. What I am, amongst many other messages, putting out there is, this is a day in the life. When you go to work, whatever it is you do, whether you're really passionate about it or whether it's just, yeah, I'm just doing this to make money, just understand your purpose. Why do I do this job? What is my purpose? And if the purpose is as simple as to pay the bills, to help my kids go to hockey or dance, or so I can take 2 vacations a year, or whatever it is, just know the truth of what your purpose is, so that you can at least bring some joy to yourself and to those with whom you interact every day at work, regardless.
Yes.
Right? So making sure that you connect to some sort of happiness, rather than going, I hate my job, I hate my job. Ugh, it's Monday. Yay, it's Friday.
Yeah, I mean, that's a third of your life. You know, like if you work 8 hours a day, I mean, it's a very big chunk of your life to just go on automatic pilot and go and say, I'm just going to do my bare minimum, and I have all these other reasons to work. I mean, you can get so much more out of it and give so much more.
And there is more than one job. If you feel stuck in the job, then maybe go look for something else, because you shouldn't start to have a heavy heart Sunday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
And there's too many people who do.
Absolutely.
The arc of the love of the weekend is over, and by 2 o'clock they're already getting a stomachache.
Oh, it's Sunday.
Or a headache.
Tomorrow's Monday. That's a hard way to live.
That is a hard way to live, and it will chip away at you, and it's bound to get into your psyche and your relationships, and then when you're at work, it's bound to rub off on the people with whom you have to interact, whether it's external clients or whether it's your own colleagues, the people you report into. Find a way to have some bliss about it. So you were asking me some strategies?
Yes, absolutely. Would love to share, because everybody has to earn a living, right? So if you could do it with a little more happiness, anything.
When in my book, Getting Passion Out of Your Profession, I talk about 8 strategies. When I present it as a keynote, I cherry pick my 5 favorites, because that's about as much as you can get in an hour.
Sure, yeah.
But I talk about even as corny and as cliche as it sounds, it's worth revisiting. What are the words coming out of your mouth? What are the kinds of thoughts that you have? Are they positive or negative? Because even the most forward-thinking, optimistic, hopeful, positive people are speaking and thinking in the negative instead of the positive.
Yes.
Right? And it's in the little things, like if I call you up and say, hey, Yvonne, have I caught you at a bad time?
I love that. I have not repeated that since you taught that to me all those years ago.
Yeah,
You've
so
already
what is
said
it?
bad.
You'll be my
have
student.
I caught you at a good time?
Yeah, there it is.
Have I
caught you at a good time?
Why do we say bad time? Words are important, right?
Words are important.
Yes.
And if people say, oh, semantics, it doesn't matter. Oh, yeah, it's the difference between I hate you and I love you.
Yeah.
Words matter.
Words matter.
And how they're delivered matters.
Absolutely.
And so teaching and reminding, teaching at the very most, and at the very least, reminding participants and audience and readers of there's a sea of negative words that we use and phrases. You've misunderstood me becomes, let me put that another way. I need to say that again. You've called the wrong department becomes, let me put you through to the correct department.
Right.
There's a ton of those. Thank you for waiting. Thank you for holding. When I do those kinds of sentences, and I do it in a workshop format, there will always be side whispers. What's wrong with that? What's wrong? And it's not that it's right or wrong.
It's just a little negative sort of innuendo. Don't hesitate.
Yeah. So for the don't hold or thank you for waiting or thank you for holding, you're painting the picture of waiting and holding Nobody wants to do that.
Right.
So what you want is for them to be patient, so that's the words you use.
Right.
Thank you for your
Patience.
right?
Yes. Don't hesitate.
Perfect.
Yeah, that was the other one, right?
That's
Feel free
right.
to call me.
There you have it, right? If you
Feel
have any
free.
questions, don't hesitate to call. So a forward-thinking, hopeful, very pleasant person, professional, elegant, positive person could be saying things like that because that's what everybody says.
That's what everybody says, and we don't think it through, right? And that's what you're saying. Think about your words and choose them, and that's because you're either fueling the negative environment or the positive, and those are all just the little phrases. And smile and make eye contact.
Yeah.
Say
Like we're doing
hello.
right now.
Say hello to people, right? Like
Absolutely.
it's and I think that your book is. Here you go. You have to, getting passion out of your profession, I think everyone should read. It is a tremendous resource. No, thank you, because there are so many gems in here that I know. I hear your voice, and that's when I say, feel free, and I just feel better about how I'm speaking and thinking of choosing my words, and think about how you're affecting someone.
Yeah.
Right?
Years ago, although I can't cite where it comes from, but I remember reading that the word free is one of the 14, I don't know why 14, maybe it's because it's 14th. It is one of the top 14 most embraced words in almost any language.
Interesting.
Feel free. So when you say feel free, your arms are open
free.
wide. Everybody loves free.
I'm free.
Free, right?
Yes, of
We know
course.
this Friday night in the grocery stores. Little Dixie cups of free sample of food you don't even want to eat.
You're so excited.
But it's free.
Oh my gosh, it's free. I love it. But isn't that makes sense,
Yeah.
right? We love that. So we always have the choice.
Right.
We always have a choice, and this is just you not only open people's eyes, but you give them the tools. And so I have literally in my new career as a speaker and engaging with people, I have used so many of these tools. So
Oh, how wonderful.
yes,
That's
it
good
is.
to know.
It is wonderful. And then, so you're talking about the fact that your mom's sudden death, which you did not, she was not ill, it was sudden, it was not anticipated, and that you created something wonderfully positive out of that. You said, you know what, I'm going to live my life to the fullest, I'm going to take this leap. And then years later, it was interesting because it was encountering grief again.
I know, and it was you that pointed that out to me.
Right.
That
because
was profound. It was a profound insight that you saw about my story.
Well, it's because in you being my speaking coach, and I was writing my book about how we don't know what to do with grief, death, and dying. Grief shows up throughout life, and in fact, even you are a part of my book, which I just love so much. Love your life to death. We've talked about this, but I would just let people know on page 71. This is Nina, and I
And that's
love
the same picture that's on the cover of my book.
of your note, and it says, and I love this, and how perfect that you wore this outfit. Nina exchanged her suit and stilettos for a hiking
For my boots.
Ta-da! Here it is, and a fleece-lined heavy jacket, and climbed her way to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro. Are you ready to climb your mountain? I love this so much, and so here we are. The book.
The colored version.
Is, yes, a time to creep, a time to soar, lessons learned for work and life from climbing Kilimanjaro. You were a professional woman in, right, a suit and stilettos, and what prompted this whole new Nina that people had never met?
Yeah, why did I climb Kilimanjaro? Because most people who climb Kilimanjaro, which is the world's tallest freestanding mountain. Some people will say, no, that's Everest. And you say, no, that's part of a chain. That's the Himalayas.
Right, yes.
But it is the tallest freestanding mountain in the world. It's one of the 7 summits that those that love to climb summits will climb. And it is also the tallest peak on the African continent. And for most people who climb, it is a bucket list thing.
Right,
and they've known it for a long time before they dare to do it. I didn't know that I was going to climb it the month before I said yes.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
So it was not on your bucket list, it was not on your radar.
But it wasn't the month before I climbed. But the month before I said yes, it
before
wasn't
you
on
said
my.
yes.
And the backstory of that is another one of grief, as you were the one that pointed out. Although I, in both cases, I knew how to tell the story, I'd never let it drill into my core the symbolism and the meaning of the both things that took me to a next level, physically, emotionally, spiritually, professionally,
Yes.
were spurred on by death.
Yes.
And that just gobsmacked me. I was a real light bulb moment.
Aha moment, yes.
So what happened with the Kilimanjaro experience was this. My dear friend of over 30 years, Diana Barrett, passed away from breast cancer at 52.
Right.
And then 3 weeks later, the only dog I'd ever owned died of oral cancer. So my dear puppy Angus was...
And you loved Angus.
Oh,
with
you
your whole
like,
heart.
some people say they've had dogs all their life. Well, this was my first experience, and so rough, really. And I'm not being, that was a pun, right?
Yeah.
Rough.
Oh, rough. Well played. Yeah.
But you know,
Yes.
it was really rough. So Diana passed, then Angus passed, and then within about a week or two, my daughter, who had been saving up money and had finished university, and she said, "Mommy, I'm ready to do it. I'm ready to buy a place of my own and go live my grown-up life."
Yes.
And that's a wonderful moment. I think all parents these days are going, yeah, baby, go.
Yes, go.
But you know, there's also that side of, oh my goodness, so there was change, transition, loss.
There's still grief in it, and I don't even think people
Yeah.
realize how much
Absolutely.
grief, even if it's a joyful occasion, there's still the grief of, oh my, how wonderful you're leaving. Oh my goodness, you're leaving. It's both. It's
It's
grief
right.
and joy, all mixed in.
So my girl left, and it was about 8 weeks post these other traumas, these sadness moments, despite Christmas time, because it all happened around Christmas. I belonged to a women's club back then, and every Thursday we would get emails, a newsletter. So I looked at it was called the Verity Buzz, and I looked at the Thursday email, and one of the members had announced that she's taking a contingency, is that right? Contingency? A group of people.
A group of people, yes.
Sometimes words fail me. You have to pay me if you want me to speak properly.
Yeah, there you go.
But she was taking a group of people to climb Kilimanjaro to raise funds for a women's leadership center for master's studies on the Africa International University campus in Nairobi, Kenya. Who wants to go? And I read that and I went, click, delete, not
Delete,
interested.
just like that,
Not
okay.
interested. Swung around, did my work again. After that, the next Thursday came. It would come in, I'd read it. I say, oh, it's going to be nice for them, sounds interesting for somebody.
Not me.
Delete. So of course this went on for weeks. January, February, March, all the way through until June. And in that arc of time, of course, like anybody who's grieving, I had my ups and downs and my ebbs and flows and times when I cried and times when I was happy and smiling at memories.
Yes.
But in this particular case, on a day in June, I had this 6 months out, 6 months out when you think you should be drying your eyes. I had this real gusher of a wave of sadness come over me. And I pulled away from my desk. It was in an office day. I pulled away from my desk and I permitted myself, as you would champion,
Yes, absolutely.
to have a darn good cry.
Have a great,
Right,
acknowledge and allow all feelings, right? Yes.
So when I'd finished, I swung around, I went to my emails. That's what you do. You click on send and receive, right? And there was this cursed
There it is again.
email. And I thought, I got to take a hit. I got to take a hit. So I sent the woman, her name was Ruth, an email. So you've been sending me these emails for 6 months every week, and I've always deleted. But something today has just sparked me, and I'm not saying yes.
Right.
This is just an email.
Just asking.
I'm even scared even typing this. I remember saying that. I'm even afraid just saying this.
Yes.
But please, will you please meet me? And so she said, everyone's afraid in the beginning. Let's just meet for coffee. And when I met her, You know that when you look at somebody and you just think they have the, you know, can I say that corny thing about an aura or
Yes,
this energy?
absolutely.
She just emanated something that was full of leadership and confidence and serenity and peacefulness, and I just thought, wow, I knew before we even started talking, I'm going to go
You're
climb.
going to do this.
I'm going to go and climb Kilimanjaro.
So,
and I've written a check before the end of the meeting.
oh my goodness, which is just so incredible, because I think that's another huge aha thing is
Yeah.
maybe sometimes your life transitions or transformations don't happen overnight. That took months and months, but then suddenly you said that.
A nanosecond.
Yes, so not only did you climb Mount you trained
7 months.
7 months, you trained.
Yeah.
That's where Jen came in and
That's
helped you
right.
train.
That's right.
And you,
Bless her heart, she was fantastic.
oh yes, she's adorable. And I'm sure she was amazing.
I was a slim woman, but I wasn't a fit woman.
Right.
And even that's an interesting message.
It is.
Because
You can-
the external packaging can be an illusion,
Sure.
right?
Absolutely.
I was not fit.
So you were thin but not fit. So she helped you become fit. Not only did you climb, and I mean, I wish we had time to talk. We're going to run out of time, if you can believe it, if we don't finish up, because this is just, this book, you talked about all the lessons you learned along the way, and you
Yes.
shared so many things, and I felt like I was a part of your climb the whole way, and there were just, with every lesson that you shared, I was like, oh wow. And it applies to life, and it applies to your professional and personal life, and it's another beautiful, beautiful read. And can you believe it? My son is saying, okay, Mom, time to wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
But
Can I say one thing quickly, though? Algonquin Park is where I did all my training, and that's
Okay.
just a little bit further north.
Yes.
And
So you can do it here,
You
train
can,
for Mount
train for
Kilimanjaro.
Mount Kilimanjaro right here in our own
right in your own
metaphoric
backyard.
Right.
So yes, I can't believe we're out of time. Nina, I would encourage anyone to connect with you for
Thank
a
you.
keynote as a coach, and these books are treasures. Both
Thank
books are treasures. Thank you for everything you did to help me along my career. I am so forever grateful. And everyone, connect ninaspencer.com.
Yes.
Yes.
www.ninaspencer.com.
Check out her website, her books. As a speaker, coach, amazing. Thank you, my friends.
Thanks so much. Lovely
Thank
to
you.
be with you
We're going to
again.
hug right after this.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so thanks for joining us today. Real Life Talks is about learning how to just show up for yourself and just show up for others and be empowered and resilient. So, if you want to be able to just show up, my call to action, as always, plan your life, plan your death, and then just love your life to death. And always, bring your own tambourine to the party. Thanks.